What's going on, everyone? For the final time in 2023, welcome to the Unqualified Film Bros podcast. Max, George, Ben, and Declan coming at you, gearing up for 2024 with a final look back at 2023. Second episode of the weekend. We hope you're not sick of us yet. We are resuming our annual tradition for the third time, counting down our favorite movies of 2023. Well, I guess the last two times it's been of 2021 and 2022. But this is the first time we're talking about our favorite movies of 2023.
Woo!
It's a
Yeah.
joke that didn't land. Classic George. All right, so we're going to do sort of the same style as we did last year. First, we're going to go around talking about our movie that we did not get to see this year that we want to see, that we missed. One or two, there's no rule on it. Then our worst picture or most disappointing picture of the year, either or. But please, gentlemen, specify which one you mean. And then we're going to do some honorable mentions, countdown 5 to 1 in the order you see us here. So Max, then me, then Ben, then Declan. And then we'll look ahead to 2024 and we'll see which movies we're most excited for in the new year. So I already forget what we said we were doing first. Movies we missed.
Movies we missed.
So Max, you got a couple? One, two, how many?
I got three.
Okay.
I'm going with number one in no particular order. Godzilla -1. I've heard some really fantastic things. I just haven't gotten a chance to go see it, but really excited to. Hopefully, it's still in theaters when I get around to see it because it just seems incredible. Blackberry. I've been meaning to see that forever. George has talked my ear off about it a couple of times, so I got to get on that. And then Wonka. It got surprisingly good reviews, so now I'm back on the train. I want to see it.
The train.
Just give me a fun time to end out the year or open up the new year, whichever one comes first.
Cool. I have two that come to the top of my head right now. I know I'm going to forget one because 2023 has been a baller year for films.
Oh.
And I hate that I just said that because my first film here is Air. That was completely unintentional, but it happened, so I'm going to live with it. Yeah, Matt Damon, Viola Davis, Ben Affleck. And they tell the sort of Michael Jordan origin story with Nike without showing Michael Jordan in the movie, and I think that's a really fascinating filmmaking technique by not featuring the biggest star.
You should watch Zone of Interest, though.
Once again, I will take Benjamin's recommendation because he knows a lot.
That's right.
My other movie that I would like to get to, probably while it's still in theaters, Poor Things.
Oh yeah.
Because Yorgos Lanthimos is one of the most artistic directors in terms of stylization and presentation of his films working today. And Poor Things, the trailers look great. I love the cast. Emma Stone looks like she has an absolute blast in this one. Ruffalo looks like he has a great time. And I love Willem Dafoe and Rami Youssef. So it looks like it's going to be a really good time. I'm hopeful to see it in theaters. Finally playing in a wider release than, just a few theaters outside of my general radius. So yeah, Air, Poor Things. Hoping to get to them soon. Benji.
I think I have to go with definitely Poor Things as well. I have yet to see it. Yorgos Lanthimos is one of those directors that is really depressing most of the time, at least. So I haven't worked up myself to go see that movie. And then the other one that I need to see, which is you can rent now, I think, which is Anatomy of a Fall. I've heard very good things about that. It's on Obama's film list, I think. And I've heard the actress in it is fantastic. So
Which
one I have to see.
Which I just want to say he just recently added the color purple to the new one recently, which shows even Obama can add films to his
He updated I didn't
Yeah,
realize
he updated it because he's like, I just saw
Still
it.
no Killers of the Flower Moon though. That's surprising.
Honestly. Anyway, as for me, you all said a lot of great ones. Blackberry and Poor Things in particular are like, oh yeah, definitely that one. But the biggest one that I regret that I missed was Beau is Afraid by Ari Aster. I had to double check that it was this year because it
It
feels
was really
yeah,
this.
he's
So many
great.
movies this year.
Yeah, he's great filmmaker. I'm not a horror. Well, I'm slowly becoming
It's
like,
not a horror movie.
yeah. No, so it's just like the sheer quality of Astor's other
Like
films makes me sort of like, even though I only have some idea of what it is. I gotta at least check that one out. Yeah.
Midsummer is somewhat like an experiential film on loss and grief. Beau is
Mhm.
Afraid is like an experiential film on anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely yeah, it's a good film.
Mhm.
It's not on my list, but it's a good film.
Yeah. I regret missing it.
So we are all going to watch those films first and foremost in 2024 before we get to any new movies.
Yeah.
We're all going to watch some of those, which is something I bet I've said in the last couple episodes that we've done like this. But I think I've still missed out on the movies I said I wanted to see that I had missed. So who knows if I'll get to Poor Things and Air, but hope I do. All right. Before we talk about the best, let's talk about the worst or most disappointing. Max, what do you got?
Um, Ben, I don't think I think you'll agree with me on this one, but I'm gonna go with worst. It's gotta be Strays for me. It's just, it's just like an hour and a half of like dog abuse. And I don't
And
know, I can't sit through that. It's
can't
just horrible.
you can't forget
I
the jokes.
no, and I just can't feel good about I didn't feel good coming out of the theater when I saw that.
Yeah,
So I'm going with that one.
yeah.
I'm going with Strays.
I'm gonna pick a movie for my worst picture. I thought about doing most disappointing, but worst is just, the overall experience of one cutting a lunch date short to go see the movie and then actually experiencing the movie. Meg 2 The Trench.
Oh, come on. What the
Okay,
fuck?
Ben, I knew you were gonna react like that because you love Statham, and I also love Statham. But of the 41 movies from 2023, as of this recording, I've seen 41 movies from 2023. Guess what movie has the lowest average score on Letterboxd?
I don't care. I just
Ben,
fundamentally don't care.
you yourself gave Meg 2 The Trench 2.5 out of 5. I gave it 2
Yeah,
out of
but
5.
you also watched Strays. I know this because it was on the pod.
Yes, I did watch Strays, and somehow I'm not picking it as my worst picture. It's down there. It's really close to the bottom.
George,
But yeah,
Meg 2 is also on my list of is on my short list of worst ones too.
It
So
was not a,
you know,
Meg 2 is a
but
terrible
it can't
film.
be my worst because it has Jason Statham in it.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, can I say a rule that, at least for me, Strays has Will Ferrell, Will Forte, and Jamie Foxx in it.
That's not the same thing. Will Ferrell cannot carry a bad movie, but Jason Statham can. All right. It's a specific
He
skill.
can, he doesn't in Meg 2 The Trench.
Maybe he doesn't quite carry. He doesn't get to the finish line, but he was close.
it's okay, guys. It's okay. We had Operation Fortune and we have the Beekeeper next year. So
True.
it'll be fun.
Beekeeper's gonna be great.
Beekeeper's gonna be
sweet.
so good. Stay tuned.
Bad
I
hobby
think
movies.
that episode drops January 19th, so stay tuned for that.
So good.
Gonna make a $1 billion.
Declan, that was very funny. Well done.
Thank you.
Ben?
Well, I gotta agree with Max on Strays for sure as the worst. Most disappointed, I will give some credit to Super Mario,
Mm.
the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It was it's not that it was bad, it was just very mediocre for all you could take. They seem to have missed a lot of the actual references to the games and instead put it in like a bunch of like cliche songs, cliche story plots and stuff. I don't know. It's just not very good.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Yeah. For me, if I was to do a worst, I was looking back on the films from 2023 I saw, and it is technically the Make two, but like I don't even really want to do that because
Yeah,
I do genuinely agree with Ben that it does have Jason Statham in it, and he does say like "see you later, chum" and all that, and that's great. So it feels like it's the worst by technicality. The one that really interests me was most disappointing, which I have to which I have to give to 65. It has such a good concept.
No, you're going
And
back to like January of last year. I don't even remember when that
no
came out.
one saw the movie. That's why.
I think it did come out in 2023. I
No,
did
it did.
check,
Yeah, you're right.
It did.
but
No trailers,
it's
no marketing.
it's really sad because it's a fantastic concept. Adam Driver on a prehistoric Earth fighting dinosaurs. Like like that's amazing. That should be genuinely amazing. But it was so, I don't know.
Equally amazing is how you fuck that up.
Exactly. It's like it's not incompetently made, but it just wasn't interested or not.
How do you make a movie like that not interesting? That's
Yeah. I just it was
incredible to me.
again, it pains me that 65 isn't like a classic, because we love Adam Driver here. I love
Doesn't
Adam
pay
Driver.
me. It's not a good movie.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I almost wonder if you would put the man responsible for shepherding young children to safety, Mr. Pedro Pascal, in that movie, how much it would have been different. And I haven't
That's a
seen
good question.
65,
That
but
is a good question.
The Last of Us
Yeah.
and The Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal is kind of that guy, Mr. Fantastic.
I don't think yeah, I don't think that's gonna do it.
Friend of the pod, Adam Driver. Great job.
Mhm,
Great performance,
mhm.
boys.
Yeah. We love you, Adam. It's not your fault. It just
No.
scripted.
And by the way, Mr. Driver, if you are familiar with what Josh Brolin's blood type is, we're still waiting.
Please let
Still,
us
I don't
know.
remember who was gonna win, but I think it
I
was me.
was.
Max
Yeah, it
was
was
gonna
me. Shut
win,
up, shut up,
but I
shut up,
I
Ben.
still got my Princess Bride episode. So
That's true. That's true.
I'm okay with that. That's a good movie. So
Yeah.
all right, let's keep honorable mentions to 2 or 3.
mhm.
Um, you know, if we go beyond that, we might as well do a top 10 list, and that's not what this is about.
Mm.
So, Max, your honorable mentions, 6th, 7th, maybe 8th place.
Yeah, I got 3. So I'm gonna go down in order. So I'm gonna start with 8. I'm gonna go with Air. It's a more than serviceable sort of biopic story. It does have a lot of those sports cliches that it hits, but I kind of love those, so I'm not knocking it too much. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem is my number 7. Lovely. I loved it. Really good film, really good. And then Across the Spider-Verse is my number 6. Beautiful art design, great voice cast, all around really solid film.
Damn, now I'm even more excited to see Air. It gets
Mm.
your endorsement.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does, George.
And then Ninja Turtles. That was gorgeous film.
Mhm.
Mhm. It was.
And so is Spider-Verse.
Did not think that Mutant Mayhem would make anywhere close to my top 5 when I saw it, but there it is.
It's good.
It was.
I am only going to do 2 honorable mentions. I will explain why at the end of the episode. So I'm going to also go in backwards order. Number 7, I'm going to say Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I didn't realize you were ranking them.
Yeah,
You don't
well,
have to. I
you don't
just
have
did.
to, but my second honorable mention, we'll say, which is still a way of ranking them, I guess. Across the Spider-Verse, better than the original.
Mhm.
Um,
But you said Spider-Verse twice.
You did.
I did.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
It
elaborating.
was my fault.
I apologize.
Um, so yeah, Spider-Verse is my second honorable mention. It's gorgeous. The screenplay is so really, really well written. The artistry is again gorgeous. It's phenomenal. And it speaks to the quality of film this year that I throw that one out of my top five. And then not number, sorry, Ben. But my top honorable mention here, The Holdovers, which I know is going to be in Ben's top five. But again, quality of film this year, and just the three performances at the top of the cast, the quality of the screenplay is just outstanding. It might be my favorite script of the year. But I love the film. It starts. We are recording this Thursday, the 28th of December. Tomorrow, the 29th, it starts streaming. I forget on which platform, but
I think it's Peacock.
The holdovers?
Peacock. Holdovers
I
starts
think it
streaming on
is.
Peacock
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Friday the
I think it is
29th.
Peacock.
that was already streaming. Oh, I bought it. That's
You
why.
can buy or rent it.
It is
Uh,
Peacock.
Mhm.
It's Peacock.
What's worse about this is that I texted you guys about it when I saw the release.
Yeah,
Um,
but I already, so I didn't care.
yeah, but I'm excited to rewatch Holdovers. It's already a Christmas classic.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my top honorable mention. Ben?
Um, let's see. I think I'm not gonna rank them, but Godzilla, that's definitely gotta be on there. Fantastic movie. And equally, you got Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, John Wick 4.
Mhm.
You know, they're not the most like like they were critically acclaimed, but they're not what I would typically put in like a best top five, whatever. But they're really well done movies. Especially Dead Reckoning is really well written. It's a fantastic screenplay. So I got to give it a lot of credit there. It's just fun. They're good movies, especially Godzilla. That's one that everyone should watch for sure.
Yeah. For me, so I'm putting these honorable mentions because my top five list, I'm giving priority to films I want to watch right now. Like if someone says they're watching it. Hence why in my honorable mentions, I am putting Oppenheimer, not because I don't think it's one of the best films of the year. I do. I just like
We
there are other
are
films I
ranking
like. What is it?
best. We are ranking best films, aren't we?
Favorites, dude.
It's like
Oh,
bad,
it's
like
the
you know, it's
favorite
like
films.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
it's
like
top five favorites.
it's
All
like
right.
they're like sort of in between there. So I just think yeah, it's a great film. I just there are other films I personally enjoy even more. And the other honorable mention, I'm going to give it to underrated film. Maybe none of you have heard of it. It's called that's not a joke. It's
I
called
swear to
Blood
God,
and
Declan,
Gold.
if you say Barbie right now,
I wish I had said Barbie. That would have been good. Good. No, it's called Blood and Gold. It's an action film on Netflix. I think it's originally German, but it's a
Winnie the
very
Pooh, Blood and Honey.
yes, Winnie the Pooh.
That's it.
Can't wait for the dark and gritty Mickey Mouse film to come out
public
next year.
domain next year.
That'll be something. But no, Blood and Gold, extremely well made action film. Not quite as good to make like top five, but very because it's like randomly placed on Netflix. It's placed into might as well have been placed into like a black hole or something like that. But
Yeah, I
search it
saw.
out. It's good.
I think it also came out around the same time as Sisu, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah. I think similar-ish.
Yeah.
Sisu was weird because it was a 2022 festival run, but didn't get a theatrical release in the
Yeah,
US
no.
until like late spring 23.
Mm. It's kind of like, yeah.
I mean,
Like,
Carson's film
no,
is
Sisu came out in 22,
Yeah,
right?
Sisu was 23. That was like mid
Theatrically in
this year, I
23 in
think,
the
right?
US.
It
23.
was like
Oh,
mid-May.
Yeah. It came out after John Wick 4.
Mhm. That's
Like a
why
month
that's why
after,
you guys were so excited. That's why we were so excited to see it because it was like right after, and it was the
right on
same
the heels
producers.
of
Yeah,
chapter
Mm.
4.
Right. That
we
was
were
the
like,
Well,
oh
film.
my
okay,
god.
we're calling Sisu a 22 film for
Yeah,
purposes of this list.
yeah.
Just so I
I'm
don't
not
have to
putting
feel guilty.
Yeah. We need to retroactively declare that because I forgot that we saw it in theaters in 23. Anyway.
all right. That time has arrived. We are through our honorable mentions. We have named our worst films of the year, or most disappointing in some cases. We're gonna go around with number 5. We'll go around with number 4. We'll go around with number 3, 2, and 1 favorite films of the year. Let's count them down. Max, you're number 5.
Oh, this was an easy one for me. It is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. What a film, right? I mean, it had everything. It had AI. It scared our president. It had Tom Cruise jumping off of a cliff.
Dear President.
It didn't have Henry Cavill, so that was too bad, but that's okay. No, but in all seriousness, I loved it. Can't wait for part 2. Gonna do a full rewatch before it comes out in, I don't know what, 25
Mm.
this point, summer 25, I think.
Yeah.
God, it's so long.
Much like President
Horrible.
Obama, I'm going to also retroactively put Dead Reckoning on my missed films list. Like, regret that I missed it.
You
Wait,
should
you
regret
didn't-
that, Declan.
You didn't see it?
I
Oh
haven't
my
seen it
God.
yet. I've decided to make my way through the Mission Impossible series before just watching it. But yeah,
Really?
no, I
Any
missed
of
it.
time?
I mean, as you should, but like,
Oh my.
Hey, I respect it. He's putting in the work.
Yeah.
It's taking him too goddamn long, but he's putting in the work.
That
I,
is true.
I didn't spoil anything for you, Declan.
No, not
That
at
is
all.
all in the trailer. It's all very obvious.
Tom Cruise turns
So,
into a robot at the end.
it's true. He does. But
He
it's
does
my
the
5.
robot. They have this whole dance scene. It's like Saturday Night
It's like
Fever.
Guardians. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, just start dancing to the Walkman.
I'm so excited.
My number 5, Max, I'm so glad you brought it up. Blackberry.
Mm.
Jay Baruchel is really, really good, but Glenn Howerton gives one of the best supporting acting performances of the year. He is absolutely tremendous. He carries the film. How do you make a compelling sort of corporate drama funny as hell? You cast Glenn Howerton in a sort of sub-psychotic, wannabe rich guy, CEO, power hungry monster man. And he crushes it. The movie itself is just fantastic. Watch it on AMC Plus. It's my number 5 movie of the year.
I think I had Asteroid City.
Mm.
I really enjoyed it. I'm not actually the biggest Wes Anderson fan, which is strange considering my favorite Wes Anderson film is the most Wes Anderson of them all. But yeah, my thing is I really enjoyed that he just sort of embraced his weird filmmaking style. He didn't really hold back. I feel like a lot of his other films took his filmmaking style and sort of put out a less than weird story. This one is very weird, and I very much enjoyed it. It's a very human-like story. I connected with it way more than his other ones. So yeah, that's number 5.
Mm. And for me, number 5, I hope I'm not the only one to do this because otherwise it'll be funny but also sad. My number 5 is Guardians 3. I think the Guardians trilogy has some of the best character work in the entire MCU, and I think Guardians 3 is no exception. Brilliant film all around. Guardians 3.
Okay.
Number four, right? Yeah. I'm gonna go with Wes Anderson's shorts on Netflix. I'm gonna group them all together because even though they're not, connected, they all got released at the same time. I watched them all at the same time. Really creative. I didn't get a chance to be on the Asteroid City episode, so I still haven't seen it yet. So I can't comment on it, but they were all so enjoyable. Performances were great. I thought the writing was fantastic. Fascinating stories and really, really well done. They're my number four.
Should we bring in Riley to give his thoughts on those?
Sure, why not? Call them up.
Riley, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining when we need you.
Mm.
Number four, I'm gonna go with a movie that I hadn't seen any films in its franchise before 2023. I watched all four of them in sequence right before, or right at, including the new release. John Wick Chapter 4. It is the best narrative of the four films. It is the best visuals of the four films. Cathartic moment of the year when John sits up after being shot in the duel and says consequences and kills the Marquis.
Consequences.
You arrogant asshole. He didn't shoot. Consequences. One of the best movie moments of the year. Yeah, I have not rewatched Chapter 4 since I saw it in theaters. I've rewatched that scene probably 100 times. But just having Keanu back as John Wick to sort of wrap up that story, I guess we could say, even though Ballerina is coming out next year. And then to have Donnie Yen and Hiroyuki Sanada and Bill Skarsgård, and then bringing back Ian McShane, obviously Lance Reddick's, the late great Lance Reddick's final performance. John Wick Chapter 4, did not expect coming into the year. I knew we were doing it on the pod. I had it low on my list of
He didn't
what
even
I
know
was
what
anticipating for the year. Number 4, favorite film of the year. It's tremendous.
Well done film series. Top-notch action series.
Yeah. I don't like
We
the
got
first one.
Sisu a
But
month
besides
later.
that, wholeheartedly agree.
You like the first one?
Yeah, we let's not get into it because we'll be here too long.
It's
But
just
like
because the dog dies, isn't it?
it's a long
Declan.
story. Two, 3, 4, love them. First one, it does not do it for me.
It's
But yeah,
more. I've never actually heard that take before. That's a new one for me.
yeah. No, that's valid.
They get better as they go on.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, sorry, Ben. As you're, I didn't.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Let's see. Oh yeah, The Killer. I love that movie. It perfectly encapsulates David Fincher's sort of filmmaking style. I love the sardonic sort of Smith soundtrack that's just playing throughout. It's a very it's a good dark comedy. It's played as a thriller, but really it's a dark comedy. A satire on capitalism, a satire on just the trade of human lives in general, and just everything that people sacrifice every day and they don't realize. It's a great film.
Use Amazon to commit crimes.
Yeah, use Amazon, use WeWork.
Yeah.
Participate, don't improvise.
Starbucks. Didn't use
So,
Dunkin' Donuts though.
Yeah. My next film is going to be The Holdovers. I regret not being on there, but it was a fantastic film. There are many things that Paul Giamatti said in the film that have lived rent-free in my head ever since then. It's a beautiful, funny, heartwarming Christmas film that yeah, everything we said about it when you put it in your honorable mention mentions, it's great. I'll always support my boy Paul Giamatti, you know, for the John Adams miniseries, but this here as well, top notch.
Paul Giamatti
That
and pizza, two things that New Haven does really well.
Declan, your comment on the Adams series was such a predictable thing for you to say.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot even sort of argue with that.
And we wouldn't want you to. All right. We are through our fives and fours. Top three movies of the year.
Yeah. Let's go three. I was deciding between The Holdovers and Barbie, but I think I have to give it to Barbie on this one. I think it was one of, if not the highest grossing film of the year. It was very close,
It is.
if
I
not.
think it was.
I think it was. It was one of the only films, one of very few films to
It was
gross over a
close
billion.
to, Oppenheimer, I think.
Yeah,
Obviously.
but there is a lot there. It is very surface level in some respects, but I think it's kind of meant to do that. It's meant to be for everyone in a certain respect. It was created that way, but there are levels to it that you kind of have to think about. And it's not perfect. I don't think it's perfect, but it was one of my favorite films this year.
I love that take.
Mhm.
My number three is a movie I know no one else on this pod is gonna choose. I know it's one that probably the three of you haven't seen. Stephen Curry Underrated, the documentary on Apple TV Plus
I hate you. I hate you so
about my
much.
boy Wardell Stephen Curry II,
This is
four-time NBA champion.
this is the biggest. It's like
I can't wait for George to pick in his 2025 or his 2025 pick. No, 2024 picks the Brock Purdy parts of quarterback, the Netflix series.
I can't wait
Hey,
for the
hey.
Brock Purdy documentary.
You know what? The Christmas game against the Ravens hurt, but I'm still feeling pretty good right now about the Niners' chances.
I don't even get these references, but I'm funny. It's so funny how annoyed Ben and Max are.
It's just
Hey, I thought about
top five.
I thought about just doing narratives, and then Max convinced me back in July when I watched this movie to do the
This Max?
this Max
It's
convinced me
your
to
fault.
include a documentary.
It's your
No, look,
Um,
there's no look, I gave the advice that there's no issue taking a documentary and putting it in your top five.
no.
I know you would specifically mention the Steph Curry one, but
Here,
my advice still stands the
loud.
same.
Steph Curry documentary.
But in all seriousness, it's a very well-made doc. It was unexpected in its storytelling, focusing mostly on his time at Davidson, because what we know is his story or what three of us know, sorry, Declan, is his story with Golden State over the last 14 years.
I
But it really,
just know he won.
it looked at his time at Davidson. It looked at sort of how he has always been underrated, even from his time in college to when he first came into the NBA, and he had struggles throughout his entire basketball career. And then, of course, the doc ended with their fourth championship, 2022 against the Celtics, which was just so much fun to watch.
To be clear, you would not watch a documentary about Tom Brady, though.
No, I wouldn't waste my time with that.
Right? To make sure.
Ben, number three.
My number three is gonna be actually, which it's hard to choose between these. I think I ended up at Oppenheimer for number three. It's a fantastic movie. I mean, what do you need to say? It's an epic. There were a lot of great movies that were released this year, so it was hard to choose a top, five films. But this landed at number three, which is pretty damn high considering the competition, quote unquote, this year. But yeah, it's a great film.
And for my number three, this one actually moved around places a few times, I won't lie. But my number three I'm gonna go with, and I checked that it came out this year because I was surprised by this. D&D Honor Among Thieves, incredibly fun,
Oh,
great
I enjoyed
time.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I like rewatching it. I was able to appreciate it more. Just the again sheer level of creativity and the way it like actually it adapted the experience of Dungeons and Dragons, but in a way that's like subtle. That I think fantastic film.
Declan, have you played Baldur's Gate 3 yet?
Not yet. I
You
want
gotta
to.
get
I'm
on
probably
that.
gonna play it soon, but at
Gotta
this time, not yet.
Declan, that pick brought me joy. Thank you.
Declan, the last 3 times, now the third time that we've done this, Declan's
Mm.
had a pick in here that's just it warms the heart.
Yeah, it's a great pick. That's a real good one. That's a real good one right there.
It's like it's adjacent to the honorable mentions for me. It's a great movie.
Mm.
Did not earn nearly as much as it should have. Because I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
anybody that watched it would enjoy it, and just not enough people went to go see it.
I feel like
It's
I'm-
the
What, The Last
D&D
Duel?
moniker. It's the D&D moniker.
Max, I think it's been over 2 years. It's still too soon. All right. Now for the movies that were not good enough to be our favorites of the year. Number 2,
Oh,
Uh,
I see.
Napoleon. No.
I was legit like, really?
Holy.
no chance.
Not a
No
chance.
chance.
I don't think
No
it's even
chance.
Ridley Scott's, to be honest.
Mm.
I don't think it was Ridley Scott's favorite film that he did this year. I think it was his
No.
only one.
A little
Probably
bit.
not.
A little bit true, yeah.
He's gonna release another one like right before, just like
No.
right before midnight.
I
Make
hope
it-
it's a masterpiece because that'd be funny.
Ridley Scott's favorite movie that he did this year was Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yes.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, that's my number 2. Congratulations. Thanks, George. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about Oppenheimer that hasn't already been said both on this pod and in uh film reviews and everything on Ben's Letterboxd. Sorry. No, I mean, what a film, right? I mean, it was a spectacle for a reason. It was part of one half of Barbenheimer for a reason. Yeah, God, I need to see it again though. I've only seen it once, but I need to see it again. But oh my God,
It's a truly
Wow.
beautiful but like insane thing that it's one of the highest grossing films of this year. I'm so glad it is, but it's also like what
If it
when you think
hadn't-
about it.
God bless
If it hadn't been Nolan with that cast on the same release day as Barbie, it would not have done that well.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But again,
it was a
That's what it is.
perfect
Yeah.
combination of things that like caused the most beautiful lightning in a bottle moment in history.
Sometimes social media is a beautiful thing. Not only Barbenheimer, but people were, talking about him making the atomic bomb, without CGI and stuff. It was a
I
lot,
never
He
thought I'd
added-
hear those words come out of Ben's mouth. Sometimes
He added
social
the
media
nuke-
is a beautiful thing.
He added the nuclear fallout for the blast in post. So
Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, technically there
Yeah.
was it. But yeah, I just mean like sometimes the community comes together and actually makes art worth it for the studios. Makes them think twice, like, oh, maybe we can fund that. That's a great thing.
Nicolas
Support
Cage in The
filmmakers.
Flash.
They're essentially just becoming A24. They're like, oh wait, A24 they're doing okay.
What?
Okay, we could do this. Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Max, when you said that you've only seen Oppenheimer once, I've also only seen it once. I'm a little worried to watch it on a small screen. I kind of want to only experience that movie in IMAX ever.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's important, but it's also not essential. It's not as essential as I thought it would be.
It's good either way. I mean, yeah, it's not as like you missed some parts, but the story is still there. It's just
Mhm.
whole like explode. Honestly, what you miss is the explosion. That's the most noticeable.
So My number two. You guys didn't think I was gonna leave the MCU off my entire list for the night.
You,
Oh my God, the
you.
Marvels, really?
Quantumania. No, I'm just kidding. Guardians Volume 3.
Phew. Okay, I was real
It's
worried I was the only one who's gonna appreciate it.
no,
Phew.
it's the best in its trilogy. Um, it's like Declan, like you
Michael
said.
Mann did not like it. He liked the first two. He did not like the third.
Who?
Michael Mann.
Well,
Really?
we will deal with Michael Mann when we watch Ferrari next week, okay? That's perfectly timed.
Mm.
Yeah, Guardians 3, it's the best character work by all of the actors. Um, Surprisingly, Chris Pratt gives a low-key elite performance.
Mm. Mm.
Like this is the best he's been as Star-Lord. Maybe Infinity War, I don't know. Jury's still out, but he
No,
was
yeah,
really, really good in this.
I think that's pretty. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Bradley
Even as
Cooper's
Nathan Fillion, so even Ben could enjoy it.
well,
I
Nathan
like the
Fillion
first
wasn't in
one. I like
Uncharted,
the
Yeah,
so
no,
And I like the second one. I just don't think it's that movie.
it's James Gunn's magnum opus. Sorry, Scooby-Doo, but yeah, Guardians 3 is my number two film of the year in terms of favorites.
Really, someone has not seen Spider-Man, but that's
Coyote
okay.
versus Acme will see you in, I don't know, like five
Oh
years when it
yes.
finally gets released.
Gosh, gosh.
It's not going to get released until Christopher Nolan burges into Warner Brothers and says, "Give this to Universal like you did Oppenheimer."
Yeah, yeah. Honestly.
All right, Ben, number two.
Number two is Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, it's an awesome movie. It takes the quintessential Martin Scorsese formula about gangsters and applies it to these guys who are essentially gangsters, but takes off any of the charm, that would be presented like Goodfellas or something. There's no charm left. There is nothing except for like just a cold, greedy, almost narcissism. Everyone's just out for themselves.
Mm.
And it's an amazing movie. I mean, it really shows authentically the impact it has on everyone in that area, but also just the fact that it happened that way.
Mm.
It's an amazing movie.
Mm. Mm.
It could definitely be my number one, but
Mm.
my number one special.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder what it
I
is.
I had a similar things. I actually originally had the film lower, but before like we started, I like thought about it more and I said, no, this has to be higher. And so my number two is also Killers of the Flower Moon. Again, I it's like it's a film that I think is phenomenal, that I'm I but I again, the comparison I give is Schindler's List in terms of like what what's on screen is so powerful and super compelling, but also horrifying and like deeply
Yeah, but
disturbing
Schindler
to
was doing nice things.
mm. Yeah, like it's not one to one, but just in terms of like the general like how I feel with it.
Did you watch
Yeah,
Son of
that's a good clarification. Thanks, Ben.
Interest? I just wanted to,
Mm,
point out
mm,
Schindler was not as bad as Ernest and what's his name? King, whatever, King Hale.
mm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. King
It's better.
Schindler's not is in fact a good person. Unlike
That's not controversial to say.
yeah.
Friend of the pod,
It
Bob
was
De
kind of more
Niro.
like Rudolph Hess in Zone of
Mm.
Interest.
A little bit, it's like in terms of like the just going along. No, Rudolph Hess would be Leo DiCaprio's character, in like kind of stupid guy who's just going
I
along
don't
with
know.
Where was this commentary on the Flower Moon episode?
shit. That's a good
I
point.
didn't see
That's
Zone of Interest yet. And it's hard to place it on my list because it's like it's a weird film. I don't know how to feel about it.
wait, which film?
Zone of Interest.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
The one about Rudolph Hess.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a. I couldn't do it justice with the description.
Yeah. Mm,
Good
So,
film.
boys, it is that time.
right on.
It is half an hour to midnight, 3 days before the new year. Our favorite movies of 2023. Max, start us off.
It's got to be Killers of the Flower Moon for me. I mean, the emotional weight of the film was pretty much unmatched when I went to go see it. It wasn't empty theater, but it felt like it was. I don't know. The experience was just unreal, and the close, the end, sort of like the not quite mid credits, but like the I guess the epilogue,
Mm.
um, with
Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese coming out and delivering his little soliloquy.
I loved it when he
Un-
said "No hay banda."
Mhm. Unbelievable.
Mm.
Unbelievable.
I will also keep mine short and sweet. I kills for the thrills. I had never seen any of these movies before 2023. I've hit 7 of them now. The only movie I gave 5 stars to in 2023, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning.
Mm.
I love that movie. I've seen it 4 times. Bought it on Amazon because I couldn't wait for streaming.
I somehow
Uh,
knew this was gonna be your number one. Just
I
when we had that episode, I was like, yeah, no matter what happens.
it somehow seems that every year Ben gets better at predicting what my number one is going to be. And yet I know exactly,
It's the way
I
I
know what
measure
you're going to
your
say for
grin
your number
on the
one.
episode. Like I just measure how large your grin is, and
Mm.
largest grin always wins. Get a big grin,
That's
Mission
honestly,
Impossible.
that's kind of sweet. I like that.
Mm. Mm.
But
Oh,
yeah,
he paid attention to the little details. It's okay, guys.
I think, I've talked about it in 4 Letterboxd reviews. My first experience of the movie was middle IMAX and an early
Oh,
access screening,
oh my gosh.
um, 2 days before release. And then I rewatched it a week later, and then I bought it on streaming, and I've seen it twice since. I might watch it again like in the next couple of days, so I hit it 5 times before the end of the year.
Mm.
But I think the best way to sum it up is how Ben wrote it in his Letterboxd review. This is Tom Cruise. It's just, and I know I said I was going to be short and sweet, but I can just gush about this movie all night. Just the plot and the screenplay and the visuals and the stunts and the action and the new cast members, the old cast members coming back. I'm trying not to spoil anything because Declan hasn't seen it yet.
And the
Um,
screenplay is probably the best they've ever done.
uh, just the whole idea of working in AI, I think, was inevitable for a Mission Impossible movie. But they did it to perfection. I gave it 4.5 stars to start it on my first viewing, and I think by my third, I was like, no, perfect film, 5 stars.
Right on.
So, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, I'm devastated that part 2 has been delayed by a full calendar year.
Oh, gosh.
Goddamn studios not paying their workers.
Mm.
All right, so it's my turn. My number one film is obviously going to be Thanksgiving. The moment when Patrick Dempsey says,
Wait, is this real?
"There will be no leftovers."
It's not real. It's not real. There's no chance. Ben,
I tried to keep a straight face.
say it. Say Paul Giamatti's name. Come on.
It's the holdovers, obviously. That movie's amazing. I just love that I said that. It took about 2 seconds for you all to realize. You were so ready for me to say the holdovers.
The thing is, it was almost realistic. Like it's like if like
I just couldn't get through it. But there is a line where Patrick Dempsey just says, "This year there will be no leftovers," and I lost.
Hopefully he has a
It's
similar line of dialogue in Ferrari.
Mm. Yes.
hopefully, but yeah, the
This
whole
year there will be no cars.
clearly
2006.
but yeah, I mean the holdovers is amazing. I not only think it's a very good comedy. It's a very good drama. But really, the way that it's written together is amazing. You bring out a lot of emotion. You bring out a lot of humor. Especially, the start is very comedic with a strain from the drama side. And as it evolves, you get to know more and more about the characters. It really opens people up, and it reminds me of a sort of twisted version of a classic, Christmas Tale. Not twisted in that it's, demented or anything, but that it evolves a lot less in the cliche.
Mhm.
It feels authentic,
Mhm.
and yeah, man, it's a beautiful film.
Mhm.
Really, really, really love that. And even in the competition of Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer, I have to put it number one because I feel like it's just put together so beautifully. The others are complex and they do a great job, but there's a lot of weight to those. I feel like I could engage with the holdovers, and I feel like anyone can engage with the holdovers. It's a very human tale,
Mhm.
but there's nothing grand about it. It's very simple, and for that reason, it's all the more poignant.
Ben loves it almost as much as he loves the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Obviously, yes. I give that to all of my
When he has the box of it, like when he's packing up, I was like, that's
there's
perfect.
just so many great moments like that. It's beautiful. Like it's comedic, but it's also beautiful. And it's hard to find films that meld that so wonderfully.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right, I'm
And
gonna be
so
honest. I have no idea what Declan's gonna pick here.
yeah, yeah. I'm
I,
I'm honestly surprised that this is my number one, but I have to put it with the simple fact. I do not on Letterboxd do not give out 5 stars. Normally
Oh, I know what it is.
I try
it's
to
nice.
avoid it to the best like or not try to avoid it, but I want to make sure I know this. So the fact that I gave this film 5 stars instantly, it made me think, yeah, I have no other choice. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, number
Yeah,
one. I was truly like I regret not being on the but I haven't even rewatched the film yet because I'm worried rewatching it will cause me to like see flaws in it or something like that, but that doesn't even make sense.
you're not gonna see
Anyway,
flaws.
this
You
film
don't need to worry
like
about that.
no, but like for real, I feel like this film was this like utterly insane like blend of animation, character, action, fiction, and comic books that is truly miraculous. Like I loved like every all the variations of Spider-Man shown here were like compelling and interesting. I loved Gwen or Spider Gwen. Miles Morales has just this amazing character journey. The first film I felt was fantastic, but maybe a little bit not overhyped, sort of. This film lived up to the hype and then some for me. For me, I'm surprised that it's my number one, but again, the fact that I gave it 5 stars first time viewing, yeah, I have no other option. It's Across the Spider-Verse.
This is cinema.
Yeah. Yes. the the part where Spider-Punk says "fuck the PM" like that. That was like that.
Declan felt that in
Instantly.
his bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
All right,
elsewhere. But we won't talk about that.
What do you say?
don't worry about it, Declan. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Watch the video. Watch the video after it drops on YouTube. Um, so those are our 5 favorite movies of the year. Um, less overlap than usual, I think. Which
Mhm.
Yeah.
um,
Nice to have some variety.
I think
That's good.
I think we each had some really really good lists.
Mhm.
So now quickly before we wrap up, what is your highest anticipated movie of next year?
Got a couple of them. Dune Part 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, Joker 2, Folie à Deux, and Wicked Part 1. We got 3 sequels and then
Damn, dude, I was only gonna say
musical
one.
adaptation. That's okay. I'm just better than you. It's
Do you have
fine.
any original films, Max?
No, actually, no original films, Ben. It's
Not
because
very
I didn't want to
original.
pick. I didn't want to pick an original film.
I don't even
Um,
know what original films are
then
coming out. to be
I'm
honest.
gonna say a
I don't
few
think so
too.
either. There's a lot of sequels next year.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm gonna say a
Yeah.
few, and I really wish that I could say Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2, but I can't,
Me
so I
too.
won't.
Hard to
Um,
beat.
Deadpool 3, The Fall Guy, Argyle, Ballerina. Those are my 4 most anticipated for next year.
There you go.
I have one. That's it.
We know what it
Dune,
is.
Yeah,
Don't
we
even
know
say
what
it.
it is.
Yeah, dude.
which is it's
And
technically not a sequel. It's a part two. You know,
Yeah.
not a sequel.
Yeah, okay.
anyway,
Declan?
my number one, any other film would be a lie. It might not even come out this year. Don't care. It's still the Community movie. I'm still so excited for
I
it. It
hope
better.
that comes out.
I really hope
Like,
it does. Like, it's possible it won't, but I believe it will. And yeah, in any other film, it would be a lie. Would
My
be a lie.
greatest fear is if it's not good. It's like people have waited for years. There'll be riots in the streets. The
Given
world will shut down
I
for at least a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of things shutting down as we wrap up here, 2023 was the year of the dual strikes. I just want to give
Mhm.
that one quick notice before we wrap up. Work action is important. Organized labor is important. Pay your writers, pay your actors,
Mhm.
tip your waitresses. But in all seriousness,
I'd also like to
congratulations.
make a note.
Uh,
Screw the workers, David Zaslav. Get yourself a nice big paycheck for all of your work.
but
For all
for
the
real,
films you shut down, it's
You're
um,
like
doing a great
Ben,
job over there. Keep
Ben,
shutting down the
in
studio.
in 2023, just in December, Ben vetoed the picks of Wonka and Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom for the pod. We got a
purely in
couple of good movies in
solidarity
there
with.
Come
instead.
on, man.
But
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 but for real,
Ben's action was courageous, and I supported it. I want to be clear.
It's all the
um,
more why it's so courageous. It's because I hate them.
for real, congratulations to the writers and actors for getting deals that
Yes,
are so great for
Mhm.
their unions, for their work, for creatives
and
everywhere.
necessary.
Mhm.
Um, that is so important for, we're 4 guys who do a movie podcast on YouTube. And we appreciate each and every one of you watching our videos, but without the writers and actors being able to do what they do, we couldn't do what we do, which
Mhm.
is mostly just us yelling at each other for
Mhm.
45 minutes once a week, or
Yeah,
a little bit longer tonight, but it's a special episode.
if they start putting out AI movies, we will all die a lot
Yeah.
sooner than expected.
If they start doing
Mhm.
AI written and acted and everything movies, Ben's gonna do a rapid of them every week, guaranteed. So 2024, we have a lot of fun stuff on the schedule. We're gonna bring in some guests. We're gonna expand into more rapid reviews. We're gonna introduce some new stuff on the pod. So it's gonna be a great year in 2024. We hope you enjoyed as many movies as possible in 2023. I know we all did. I'm gonna try to watch a couple more before the end of the year.
Mhm.
But this video is posting on December 31st. So by the time it posted, I will have seen those movies already, hopefully. So
Happy New Year. Mhm.
wishing you all a very happy and healthy new year. Pay your actors, pay your writers. Have a good year, good night. I'm botching my
Happy
words.
New Year,
You all a
everyone.
good
Happy New
night.
Year.
Here.
We will see you in 2024. First movie review of the year is Ferrari. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Vroom, vroom.